Welcome, everyone. Catskill Mountain Foundation has been fighting back against the pandemic by supporting dance artists through residencies at the Orpheum Film and Performing Arts Center in Tannersville. I'm Pam Weisberg, Director of Performing Arts, and it is my greatest pleasure to introduce Artistic Director and Choreographer Zvi Gotheiner, who is in residence at CMF creating The Art of Fugue, an evening-length multimedia dance piece which will premiere at Montclair State University's Peak Performance Series on WNET's All Arts channel and will receive its stage presentation premiere at New York Live Arts in the fall of 2021. While we can't show that work at this particular time, Zvi will share some of his thoughts with us now on choreography, his company, and on two works created or completed in Tannersville during previous residencies, including Surveillance and Mime. He will be joined by dancer Allison Clancy. After our brief discussion, we'll show excerpts from these two superb works. And now let's welcome Zvi Gotheiner and Allison Clancy.
This is such an enchanting place in the world. It is so beautiful. And the beauty of the mountains and the trees and the snow affect us, deeply. But more than that, as I said, we are the luckiest people walking on the earth. We want to thank you so much, the Catskill Mountain Foundation, for this opportunity to come to this part of the world and focus on art making that is so difficult to do in the big city when everybody in conflicted schedule. And we come here and it's quiet and we can zoom in on the work and get deeper into the creative process. So again, thank you so much. I mean, this is an ongoing relationship. This is not the first time, and I think on behalf of the company, the dancers, I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity.
It's been surreal in the best way. It's felt like we've kind of had this little respite of, in some ways, normalcy and community, being able to dance together and touch each other and feel a sense of togetherness in this time where there's been so much separation. And I think all of the dancers are really deeply grateful for that opportunity.
Before this existence of me as a dancer, I was actually a musician and I played the violin. And I remember as a youth, we performed as a quartet, and we used to start every session working together with playing the first fugue. And it was exhilarating music making, having like 4 different voices interact totally independently from one another. It was for me like a symbol of democracy, like music making without hierarchy. And I thought it would be interesting, specifically in this time where we are now, to be engaged in a process without hierarchical decision-making, and take the fugue as a symbol for art making and also for social structure. I was born and raised in Israel. There's a tortured country that in conflict from eons, from the beginning of time. I was born to Russian immigrants that came to Israel before the big war. And was raised in a kibbutz. It is a small commune that was at one time one of the main Israeli innovation, you know, how to implement socialism in a small units. And I'm the product of it. In the kibbutz, you don't earn property or possessions. You work as much as you can and you're being provided. The children were separated from their parents from early age, and we grew up together in small groups, same age. And I didn't know that the rest of the world behaved differently until much later in my life. I consider my childhood as quite happy. I was a lot of nature. I was artistic. I started playing the violin, and I was provided with some of the best teaching in Israel, and was also engaged deeply in folk dance. And I think all of those background points are still evident in my work. I migrated to United States in my early 20s, first as a student, and then made my life in New York. And I'm so happy I made a step into dance. I think it's an amazing life. I was lucky to be a dancer professionally and perform some great work of some of the masters, and also lucky to have the opportunity to keep experimenting and discovering my young voice in dance, and life is good.
So that must have informed your way of working with your dancers and the other artists that you work with. That experience of kind of working collaboratively, growing up in a collaborative kind of society, was that a kind of an impulse in your work?
My process now is highly collaborative, and Alison can share a little bit more about it. I think we dance for like maybe 2 minutes and then talk for 2 hours. And everybody contribute ideas and reflections and criticism. And it's a very talkative group. And I like it that way. I think sometimes I may be impatient about it, but in general, it broadens the spectrum of the meaning of the work with more point of views that coming from different places. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really wonderful about working with Zvi is that as a dancer in his company, I always feel like I have a sense of agency to bring myself into the work and to bring ideas. And it's definitely, there's a sense of leadership that he has a guiding vision, but like all ideas are encouraged to be brought to the table. And it's really wonderful and unique to have a space where you feel like you can not just be a body, but be a mind involved in the process. And even within the actual technique of it, there's always room for us to bring very individual impulses to the physicality of the work. And yeah, that's very special. I think it allows us to bring a sense of personal investment. I don't use, Zvi is very reticent to dictate our approach. A lot of times it feels like he creates this like world, and then we have the agency to figure out how we live inside that world. Yeah. I remember when I first saw Zvi's company, what really drew me to want to be a part of it was just seeing the incredible combination of virtuosity and freedom that I saw in his dancers, that each one of them was like just so fully expressive. And I think he creates a very special and unique atmosphere for that kind of self-discovery. And it starts in his ballet class. You know, he's not dictating how you do the exercises. He's just creating a path for you to go on a process of self-exploration. And then that same kind of philosophy feeds into his work as well.
When I started choreographing, I was very authoritative and kind of knew exactly what I was doing and told everybody what to do. And as time passed by, I realized that I don't know exactly what to do, that the creative impulse is coming from nowhere and could not be explained intellectually and making myself superior. And I kind of like slowly got more involved with the dancers, shaping the work from the beginning of it, from the seed point of it. And it's expanded my vocabulary and the point of view of the work to a point that there's no way I'll move back to a process that is not collaborative. I think I'm so lucky to work with enormously gifted people, not just the dancers, also the video artist, Josh Higginson, the composer, Scott Killian, and Mark London, the lighting designer, that the process of us coming together has by far more meaning than just my one vision. I also realized that my body wants to do certain movement always in the same way. And collaborating with a dancer, it kind of allows it to invent something, to kind of adjust something in the usual and make it unusual.
As my working relationship with Zvi has evolved, I've come to feel empowered to, like, sometimes if he gives us a direction, I feel empowered if my impulse tells me so, is sometimes I'll do the opposite. Like, I'll literally contradict the direction, not in a contradiction of his vision, but there's an understanding that, like, I can be empowered to show him another perspective. And then he may or may not use it, and he may tell me, no, I need you to do it the way I said. But there's this relationship that, like, he's trying out ideas. He doesn't even know what he's trying until he sees it. And I'm also trying to reflect back to him, well, here's your idea, and then also here's this idea, and here's this idea. And there's a really nice sense of trust that it's not about authority, but it's about we're all trying to bring as many ideas as we can to the table so that the best ones can kind of rise to the top.
Going back to where I'm coming from, I was brought up in a part of Israel where water was scarce. Actually, in Israel in general, it is a desert climate, and water is in short supply, and it is a very strong element in the culture of Israel, where water is celebrated as a power for rejuvenation, even as a nation one, you know, that is coming from the ashes and rebuild. You know, water was symbolized, part of that process. But no water. And I remember as a young boy, the slogan of the government was that you have to save every drop. And we grew up on a song like that, you know, that you need to conserve water. And then eventually I made my life on the East Coast of the United States, where water is abundant. But in me, there's imprinted a clock or a watch, you know, that when I brush my teeth and I use too much water, I need to turn it off in a way that I save water. And then in time realizing the global issue about water, that it's diminishing, and to a point, that people professing, that would be like the major ecological issue for the future that is actually very near us. I think like southwest of United States is experiencing major issue with water, and so on. So saying that, I felt like it would be interesting to touch on the body as a vessel of water, which it is. It's like 90-something% water. And to experiment with being wet in the movement and then being dry in the movement, and see how we shape a dance work from that material.
And so now I think we're ready to bring up some excerpts from both Mime and Surveillance. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you so much.
Are you from Dallas? Hi, me too. I'm Molly. Hi, Molly. I'm Mary. Oh, thank you so much for the tickets. It's so sweet of you. Where are the other folks? I don't know. This is Trevor. Hi. Hi, Molly. You're going to say it? Okay, thank you. So we're together. But it's going to be a great show. I'm excited to see it. Oh, really? I'm sorry. How do you all sing?
It's been so many years.
Oh, there they are. Hey, how's it going? Good. Good. Wet. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Sorry? Either of us.